Hey everybody, Mark from Northeast Bass Fishing. How you doing? So today the Northeast is being the Northeast because you never know when spring and winter are going to, when winter is going to end, spring is going to begin because it's snowing right now. I'm in the southwestern part of New Hampshire and it's been snowing all morning. And I've probably got about 5 or 6 inches so far, so hopefully it will stop soon. I don't know. I think it's supposed to snow all day, so this late season snowstorm really kind of stinks, but what are you going to do? So I've been down in the tackle room here working on spring fishing baits, and you guys who watched my spring fishing setups for my casting setups, I appreciate you guys watching that. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. And today I worked on some of my spinning setups that I will definitely be using next week. So I'm going to fish next week, hopefully. And usually kind of when I fish in the spring like this, and you know, that water's going to be cold, you know, like I said yesterday in that other video, you know, upper 30s, low 40s. I probably tend to use the spinning gear more. And here's kind of the baits I use. I've got some, you know, traditional baits I use in the spring, and then I got some new stuff I want to try out. Now, most of the time, if not all the time, I will start my fishing season, especially in the spring, when the water's cold, with a jerkbait. And I have 2 jerkbait setups. I have one, this has 8-pound fluoro on it, and that's just a Megabass 110 plus 1. That's the Pro Blue. I think that's the Pro Blue 2 that has the orange on the belly. This is that FX Extreme rod that I bought last year that I like as a jerkbait rod. Like I said, 8-pound fluoro. I think this is a 7-footer. Let me double check. I don't remember. I don't remember where it says it on there. Oh, there it is. Yep, 7-foot medium. And that's what I like. I like a 7-foot medium for jerkbaits spinning. I prefer throwing a jerkbait on a spinning rod. And a lot of times lately, I've started with that plus 1. If the fish are, I always assume the fish are going to be a little deeper. I can go to the plus 2 if I'm not getting any action, or I could just go with a regular, just 110. But there's your Megabass 110 plus 1 and the Pro Blue plus 1. And then on the other setup I have, this is one of those new Enigma 300 series spinning reels I got. That's an Abu Garcia Vendetta, Veritas 7-foot medium rod, which I've always really liked for throwing a jerkbait. This is an older one. I'd like to get a new one. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I do have one that's out getting some new eyes on it, so that one will be back in the mix when I get that one back. And that's another one of those new Enigma 300 series raw spinning reels, and this has got 6-pound. I went with 6-pound lighter line on that one. So I have one with 8, one with 6. See if it makes a difference to the bite, to the fish. And this is a Megabass 110 plus 1, and that's just one of their perch patterns. I always like a perch pattern. I'll usually start with that, see how it works, and you know, kind of mess around with the plus 1s, the plus 2s, the regulars. Sometimes the junior size is better. But, you know, traditional springtime fishing here in the Northeast, the jerkbait is a good way to see how active the fish are. If they are not, when that water's still cold, usually after I try the jerkbait for a while, let me see what I got here. Try and unravel everything. If the jerkbait isn't producing, I'll usually take out the hair jig. And this is just a M.T.O. Lures, Bill Alexander, 1/4 ounce black hair jig. Black is usually the one I'll start with. I like that a lot. Because really with the hair jig, I'm just swimming it really. I'm casting it out and I'm just slowly, like slow rolling it. Like I'm slow rolling a spinnerbait almost, or a crankbait or whatever. Sometimes I'll throw it and drag it along the bottom. Maybe add a little, you know, super pork to it, like the junior size. This is not the junior size, but I'll add it. If they're glued to the bottom, I may add that pork on there and just drag it along the bottom. This is another one of those Enigma 300 series spinning reels. This is 6-pound line. I put 6-pound on both these new ones. And this is just a 7-foot medium Ardent Apex rod. Nice rod. That's the hair jig. So if the jerkbait bite is not really, the fish aren't reacting to it, I'll go to the hair jig. If I find I have to drag the bottom, I will usually go with, what do I got here? I will definitely throw the Ned. And this is that Sematis hollow tip worm, one of my favorite Ned baits I've used. It's just a 1/4 ounce, excuse me, Wu tungsten Ned head right there. I believe this is not new line. This is a line I had on from the end of last year. I believe this is 8-pound fluoro. This is one of my Enigma Epon rods. And this one is a 6.9 medium light. So it's a medium rod. And I like that for throwing the Ned. And so, you know, if I have to drag the bottom, I'll drag the bottom with the Ned. Let's see. I do have some new baits here. Oh, I have one bait that's kind of like a more of a traditional bait that I'll use in the springtime. And I'll always put on a small Kitech, like a 2.8 or a 3.3. This is a 3.3, just a black Kitech. And that's just on a Fenwick Elite Tech rod. I think this is a 7-footer. I don't remember. 6.9. 6.9 medium, moderate fast. And that's just a Fluger President spinning reel. Just put new line on that. I used a lot of 6 this spring. That's 6-pound line. And I'll see if I can get a bite on that swim bait. I'll use the 2.8 to 3.3. I don't really go much bigger as far as a swim bait goes. Early in the season like this when that water's cold, just to see. It's kind of a search bait, just to see if they're active, see if they're in the area, see if they'll chase anything, if they want to chase moving baits. Because you never know. A lot of times I'm going to be dragging because they're glued to the bottom. Now here's 2 new baits I got for this year that I want to try this spring that I thought could be pretty productive. And I usually do throw a tube, but instead of just a regular tube on, I put that new Great Lakes Finesse. I can't talk today. Great Lakes Finesse. Look at that little that juvie crawl that I showed you guys. So I put one of them on with a 1/4 ounce, one of their 1/4 ounce heads that I'll show you in a sec. And this is just one of my Abu Garcia Revo, you know, setups, reel and rod that I got a few years ago from them. I believe this is a 7-foot medium. Yeah, it's kind of like my standard 7-foot medium, and 8-pound fluoro, and that juvie craw there from Great Lakes Finesse that I showed you guys the other day. I think I still got it out. So there it is, that juvie craw, that 2.5 inch, and with one of their heads. I do have the 3/16 and the 1/4. I went with the 1/4. That's just one of their heads. It's a finesse head that fits that juvie craw perfectly. So I put that on. There's that Somatis baits, if you guys hadn't seen. You guys have seen my videos before, but that's that natural color that I really like. That's that Ned that I have on. And I'll try some different ones. I'll try the Somatis baits one. I like the little General that I showed you guys the other day from, if, you know, I'm looking maybe for a little more scent, even though I'm going to glob that up with scent when I put it in the water. But that's it. So that's the juvie craw. I'll show you that again one more time really quick. Very finessey, so I'm kind of throwing a tube in a way, but not really, and I'm throwing in a crawl, so it's kind of a combo. And I figure with that small profile, maybe that'll be good when this water is really chilly. And last but not least, another new bait that I got this year, and I've showed you guys this before. There's that Hyper Spider from Kitech. That's that new, you guys can see that well. I'll show it to you in the pack so you can see that. You guys have seen the other videos on it. That's that Hyper Spider. I want to try it. I think in the cold water it could be very good. And this is another Enigma rod, 7-foot medium, 7'1" medium, and it's a C-Force Ardent 300 series spinning reel. I think this was, I didn't put new line on this. I think this is 8. I didn't have any 10 anything, so they're either 8 or 6. This feels this feels thinner than 6, so I think it's 8. And I'm going to drag that around. I want to try it out this spring, see how it works. I mean, it's a bait you can throw all year, but I think in that cold water, it really should produce. And that's the Hyper Spider 3.2 inch. The one I have on there is that green pumpkin orange gold. And that's it. So, I mean, it's not really... the nice thing about the early season when the water's cold is you're really limited. You know, I don't need 100 baits in the boat. I'm going to throw the jerkbait a lot when I start. I'll throw the hair jig. If I can do some of with the casting stuff, maybe some cranking. You just have to kind of see what they want. When this water is cold like this, really, you know, essentially with this weather we're having, winter is just ending. This will be like almost like fishing ice out, you know, when I get out there the first time. Because It's not so much that there's going to be ice after this storm, but there's definitely a lot of snow coming around the area, especially the northern part of the state. So it's almost really like ice out fishing. The water hasn't been going to get a chance to warm up. Granted, after the storm ends, it's supposed to get nice. And once that sun is beating on the water a little bit and warming things up, hopefully the fish will start to move up a little shallow when I can finally get out and go fishing, that is. So that's it. So just to kind of, you know, wrap it all up for you guys, I've got the 2 jerkbait setups, both right now with Megabass plus ones, 110 plus ones. I like that deeper diver early in the season when the fish are probably going to be holding the deeper structure. I could go to the +2. I could go to the junior size. I always kind of mess around until I get a jerkbait bite and see what they want. You know, if that's not producing, I'll go with the hair jig. The hair jig is always a great bait. There's times in the spring when I could not get a sniff on anything, and then I go to the hair jig, and then it was like fish after fish. You find an area where they're loaded up, and that hair jig is just dynamite. What else to try to remember? The swim bait, I always try a small swim bait. I like the black one works great. You could use any color you want. I like that black high-tech, works great. I showed you the hair jig. There's that Ned setup. And I could, you know, if I'm not going to throw the Ned, if that's not, I could try the Helgramite, try that a little bit. There's lots of baits you can put on that Ned head and try it. See if they, even a small tube, and drag it around the bottom. But I'm really looking forward to trying this Kitech, that Hyper Spider. I'm looking forward to trying that out this year, see how I like it, see how it produces. And that Juvie Craw, it looks like it should be a great like craw tube combo, you know, to try this year. I think it should be great. So that's it, guys. I think this year maybe I've kind of tried to make an effort to go lighter line, especially early in the year, even on my flipping sticks. I'm usually just a 20-pound guy. I've got a couple now with 16 on there, 14 on there to try early in the season, maybe lighten the line up a little and see if that helps. But that's it. That's it. We shall see how it goes. Hopefully, and I keep saying hopefully I'll get out next week. With this storm, who knows? It's hard to predict how quick things are going to get cleaned up around here, but the weather looks like once the storm is over is going to get really nice, and then things should, you know, melt fast. And if nothing else, the lakes will definitely be full. The rivers will definitely be ripping, especially with all the runoff after this all this rain and then now snow, and then the snow up north. They're going to get a lot, and once that starts melting and running off the, you know, hopefully the river isn't too dirty, because when it's cold and muddy, it does make it a little tough over there. There's a few falls I've gone over there, and it's not great. When you know, it might be a nice day, but the fish are just not interested when that water is like chocolate milk and cold and really ripping with the current from the water being high. But that's it, guys. If any advice I could give to you in the spring is really keep it simple. If you just have a jerkbait setup, maybe a hair jig setup, you know, assuming you're fishing cold water like I am, you don't really need a lot. You don't need a lot. As I said, I tend to use all these spinning setups more in the spring than I do the casting stuff. But I will have the casting setups, obviously, because you never know how the fish are going to be. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a day where when I finally get out, when it's really warm and it's sunny, and the fish just start to move up. And you know, you want to be prepared if they do, and you're there. If they move up when you're there, and you know, have the right baits that you want to throw shallow. But I usually am doing pretty much a lot of jerkbait fishing and a lot of hair jig fishing in the spring here, when that water's, in my estimation, you know, if I've got 40, that'll probably be, you know, after the storm, I'll probably be lucky with 40. But that's it. So any questions, let me know. I'll put links to the different baits from one of the, you know, either Land Big Fish or Tackle Warehouse. But I mean, I'm sure you guys know where you can get your Megabass baits, and I'll give you the link in the Kitech site to some of their stuff. I'll give you a link to the Somatis Baits website, because that hollow tip worm is just a great Ned bait. I really love it. And I'll give you a link to the Juvie Craw again from LureNet if you guys want to check it out. Great Lakes Finesse. It looks like it could be a really good player this year, as far as baits go. But that's it, guys. So any questions, let me know. Hope you enjoyed it. And I really, really hope, I don't want to sound like a broken record, I really hope I can actually do some on the water videos soon, and not just stuff in the tackle shop. All right, so I'll see you guys soon on YouTube. Mark out.